Hey, good morning, this is EJ. So today we're doing the day 21 of 22 for the 22 push-up challenge. And I gotta say, so far it's been an amazing journey. Ooh, I need to shut off that fan. Gotta say, so far it's been an amazing journey. And I'm really grateful for, I've learned and like dusted off a lot of old skills and just learned so much while putting this together and while doing this. And I definitely know that this is a genuine need, and I am welcome to feedback on whether or not I should pursue doing something more. Like there's a lot of voices that are out there right now that are doing a fantastic job of getting the word out regarding this, far better than I. Uh, and I, don't know if my voice will add a lot of value to this particular issue. Um, but I do know that, you know, uh, you know, I've been thinking a lot about what I should be devoting my voice towards, and going back to my life's purpose, right? Helping people make meaning, or experience autonomy, uh, and enjoy lifelong play and learning. And I think that um, there's a lot of really good uh, materials and resources out there that I have found very, 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 very beneficial in helping me to, for lack of a better term, get my head screwed on straight. And while I was an English teacher, in fact, hold on, I'm going to go get that book real quick. Okay, we're back. While I was an English teacher, I actually learning to be an English teacher, I stumbled upon, while browsing the library, as is my wont, I stumbled upon this awesome book called The Critical Thinker's Guide on How to Study and Learn a Discipline. And it says Using Critical Thinking Concepts and Tools by Richard Paul and Linda Elder. And you can tell, speaking of dusting things off, very few things have helped me. Very few things have helped me more than this book. Wow, I'm looking at things I underlined. And so, like, I even had one from my professor back at University of North Florida. While I was in the class with him, he said critical thinking was a person's ability or inclination to make and assess conclusions based on evidence. So, it's Paul Egan, my educational psychology class. And the problem, as it says so well right here, is that all thinking occurs within and across disciplines and domains of knowledge and experience, yet few students learn how to think well within those domains. Despite having taken many classes, few are able to think biologically, or chemically, or geographically, or sociologically, or anthropologically, or historically, or artistically, or ethically, or philosophically. Students study literature, but they do not think in a literary way as a result. They study poetry, but they do not think poetically. They do not, I underline this one, they do not know how to think like a reader when reading, nor how to think like a writer when writing, nor how to think like a listener when listening. Consequently, they are poor readers, writers, and listeners. They use words and ideas, but they do not know how to think ideas through and internalize foundational meanings. They take classes, but cannot make connections between the logic of a good discipline and what is important in life. Often, even the very best students have these deficiencies. And so it talks about how having a framework that they present um, can be very, 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 very beneficial in uh, in producing people that are able to think within the boundaries of discipline. And wouldn't you know it, if you learned how to think, I don't know, biologically, I'm not a biologist, uh, but if you learn how to think within the boundaries of that system and you understand that system, to know one well is to know all, is to know all the systems and how they interact, and to understand fundamentally how they, relate, because we're all connected and we all have these fundamental principles that are woven into the fabric of our being that go into all disciplines across the board. And so there's certain things that if you understand, certain elements that if you understand how they work, you'll see them everywhere. You'll see them everywhere. And one of the things I like the most about critical thinking, and in particular this particular framework for it, was how it broke down the elements of reasoning. And all reasoning has a purpose, has an interpretation or inference, holds key questions, holds assumptions, holds essential concepts, holds implications and consequences, has a point of view, and contains information. And so if you could map out each one of those, you could say, understand the fundamental tenets of that discipline. And in a very similar way, I learned how to map out complex systems, right? And map out, and try to map them out in a very simple way, using those same elements and applying them across all sorts of different areas. The thing that I see that is really, really messed up is that the vast majority today the vast majority of people today that I see that have the loudest voices really should not be talking at all. They do not present evidence. They do not, really make the work to effort that's required in order to listen and even attempt to be empathetic and listening to another's point of view. Whenever such a person speaks, they're very loud, they're very sure of themselves. Lots of people, say, yeah, that's right, because it feels right. And that is our society today. Like that is where we're at. And it's, in some ways, that is to be expected because that's human nature. But yet we know better. We know better, right? We know that leaders that are, authoritative and don't take input are less likely to be effective than are efficient than those that are collaborative in nature and take input from many sources. So we got to learn how to think. Fundamentally, we got to learn how to think. And I highly recommend taking the time to go to criticalthinking.org, and perusing, going through their stuff, man. Like go through their models and check out what it means to ask good questions. What does it mean to make decisions based off of evidence? What does it mean to consider an argument and break down the elements of thought that went into making that argument? What does it mean to understand logical fallacies, of which there are many? And once you learn how to think critically, and once you learn, how people use things, like there's this fancy word called ad hominems, right? Where people will say stuff and they'll just attack you, right? And they'll say a bad thing about you just to shut you up, right? It's called an ad hominem, and it's surprisingly effective. Whenever you got people making fun of how people drink water, what? What does that have to do with leading a nation, right? Like, or what does that have to do with your ability to govern? What? Right? Like, you understand what I'm saying here? Like, so there's this weird dynamic that's happening right now where people are falling into their own camps and not applying any of these critical thinking skills. And it's not easy to do. This other quote that I like right here that I underlined, there it is. It says, learning to, this, I underlined this whenever I was like 22, no, like 23 or 24, right? Learning to think within the ideas of a subject is like learning to perform well in basketball, ballet, or the piano. Thinking within the ideas of a subject is at an advanced level without disciplined practice is as unnatural to the human mind as sitting down to the piano and spontaneously playing Chopin's Polonaise. So, am I going to expect to sit down and at a piano and just start belting out some masterpiece? Am I gonna like expect to go play basketball and be on the level of Michael Jordan, you know, Akeem Olajuwon? That's one of my heroes. We treat our minds as if it's self-evident that to think the way that we do or to see the things that we see are the only ways that can be thought or seen. We don't take the time, and it's only natural, right? But we know better by now, right? Or at least we should, that it's far better for us to try to see things from others' perspectives. It's far better for all of us, not just one person. It's far better for all of humanity if all of us learn to see from each other's different perspectives. And just that, and I'm just giving you a starting point here. We haven't talked about how to have communication or difficult communications with like your wife, or like how to be humble through very difficult circumstances. We haven't talked about how to, but this framework taught me fundamentally about my own bias, about my own, that all of us should assume that we have implicit bias because it's part of being human. It's part of having a viewpoint, right? Are you God? Can you have all things? Can you like see everything and know everything in your omnipotent omniscience? No, you're not, and neither am I. So with automatically that should make us humble. That says, oh, okay, well, I'm just a human. Let me please hear what you have to say. Let me please learn from you. Let me please learn to think, learn to read, learn to write. These are things that are a lot more difficult to do in an advanced level than we're making them out to be as a culture and as a society. And it's causing havoc. It's causing all sorts of havoc. Such is my perspective. So I encourage you to get one of these little books. Look how thin that is. You're able to just jump in and learn about how to understand intellectual standards and how to break down the defining traits of a disciplined mind. The defining traits are intellectual humility, intellectual courage, intellectual empathy, intellectual integrity, intellectual perseverance, confidence in reason, intellectual autonomy. So At any rate, it has this great question quiz on there, like, how good of a student are you? And how to evaluate an author's reasoning, how to raise important questions within a subject. That has been wonderfully beneficial. What a wonderful gift this has been in my life. What a wonderful gift that has been. 20 years later, what a wonderful gift this has been. My entire career as an English teacher, as an e-learning specialist, as an instructional systems designer, as a human performance technologist, now as a consultant and technical advisor, and hopefully as a paradigm changer / culture changer someday, right? What a beautiful little page. All right, so what I just, I'll challenge you to learn how to think. Start with going to criticalthinking.org. Okay, I hope you have a great day. And let's go ahead and do our push-ups. Push-up section! Hey, you are loved. Hope you have a great day.